In the EU in particular, it can be really hard to do cold email in a legal fashion. When you work with your average outbound agency, if they say, "Oh, we can do cold email, it'll be fine," you're violating possibly Canned Spam Act, possibly the EU GDPR compliance. There's a lot of ways you can get in legal trouble. If you do all-bound marketing with social DMs instead, contact people through LinkedIn, contact them through Instagram, contact them through Twitter, messaging through that way, those platforms, they have their own terms of use, but you aren't violating any legal structures reaching out through there. When you're trying to figure out the outbound side of your marketing, it's really important to consider the frameworks you're actually encountering. And frequently, I have found DMs through social media platforms works as well or better than a cold DM campaign, as long as you are properly considering what you're allowed to do in the channel and you're not trying to hit the ridiculous scale. I was talking to somebody yesterday. They're sending out 2,000 cold emails a day, and their performance is really like they're not making much money. And their answer is, "Okay, can I scale this to 8,000 emails a day?" And I'm like, you shouldn't need to contact 8,000 people a day, particularly in the beginning days of selling a product, to get your first 20 or 100 customers. That's insane, right? A well-constructed outreach campaign to 20 people a day, where every single outreach message is tailored and customized to that particular person and business, is going to do way better than just randomly blasting like you've got a gun and you're shooting everywhere to try to find the right email out of 8,000 today. When you focus on better communication, better planning, better quality outreach, then that's what's going to work regardless of privacy regulation. And to make that work, you need to have AI in place to help with the research and the writing, and you need to have tools in place to make sure you're sending messages intelligently, and that's part of a good all-bound campaign. But really what works here is respect the laws of wherever you are, that's important, of course, and make sure that when you're doing the outbound part, if you're doing it through a platform where there are send limits like LinkedIn or Twitter, that you're putting more effort into each message out to increase the likelihood that each message hits instead of just sending one message to thousands and thousands of people. On the inbound side, it's a bit easier, except we are in the cookieless future now where iOS has removed the capacity for tracking and so have a lot of other tools. There are a couple of ways to minimize how much that affects your business. One thing I've been doing recently that works really, really well for a number of our clients is if we do lead gen directly on LinkedIn or directly on Meta, where you don't leave the platform. So that means we're able to track the whole journey very cleanly. And then you fill out a lead gen form and we instantly have an AI call the person who fills out the form to actually pick up the sales conversation and continue it, or instantly SMS them, pick up the sales conversation and continue it. That can be a very, very high effectiveness, low cost way to bring in leads, qualify them before a human ever speaks to them, and then land business without having to bother with figuring out cookieless tracking solutions across many different parts of a website, which can be technically challenging for many people.